Okay, so you should have completed those activities on o'clock and you should be feeling quite confident with it. And again, if you've made a clock, this is when it's really good just to practice yourself. You can get your grown up to show you different o'clock times, 5 o'clock, and you can shout them out and have that practice. This video, I'm going to talk to you about 1/2 past. Okay, so that's when 1/2 past of the hour has gone. Okay, so again, we can do 1/2 past still using just the hour hand. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So you'll notice that my hour hand is pointing in the middle of 3 and 4. So my hour hand goes around in this direction. It's going to stop in between 3 and 4. So we can say that's actually 3:30. Okay, because I can see that the hour hand is halfway between 3 and 4. If I move around a little bit further, now I can say that's 5:30 because the hour hand is pointing halfway between 5 and 6. If I moved it around to here, could you tell me what time it's showing there? So it's between the 7 and the 8, and you can see the hour hand is past the 7 because it's always, in fact, to remind us, it always moves around in that direction. We call that a clockwise direction. Okay, so it's going to come around this way. It's going to come around that way. It's going to come around that way. Oh, that's a bit of a wonky arrow, but you get my point. So if it's halfway between 7 and 8, it's past 7. So I would say it's 7:30. Okay, let's carry on. Here it's between 10 and 11. What is the time? 10:30. Well done. Over here, I've got it halfway between 12 and 1, and it's going in that direction. So it's past 12. So I would say 12:30. Now, when it's o'clock, the minute hand is pointing at 12. Do any of you know what the minute hand points at when it is 1/2 past? And I'll give you a bit of a clue. So I'm going to get rid of my hour hand for the minute now. If it's 1/2 past, that means half of the hour has passed. Can you see I've used half of this circle? Okay, the minute hand always points at the 6. Okay, so whenever that minute hand, the longer hand, is at the 6, I know it's going to be 1/2 past. Here, okay, it's halfway between 9 and 10. It's 9:30. If it was 9:30 in the evening, I'd expect you all to be sound asleep in your beds. 9:30 in the morning, okay, we would have just finished our guided reading and we'd be moving on to maths or English. Okay, let's go here. Again, I know it's a 1/2 past because my minute hand's on 6. My hour hand is between 12 and 1. I know it's 12:30. If it was 12:30 in the morning, okay, that's really when it's still very dark and we'll all be asleep. 12:30 in the afternoon, you'll probably be playing outside on the playground, or you'd be in the lunch hall eating your lunch. Let's move to here. Can anybody tell me what the time is there? Oh, let me just make sure that hour hand is right in the middle of those two numbers. That's it. What's the time there? 4:30. And I can check, I could even get my little pencil. Yeah, that's right in the middle of 4 and 5, isn't it? Okay, and my minute hand's on the 6, so I know that's 4:30. If it's 4:30 in the morning, we'll be asleep still. And we'll have a few more hours before we have to wake up. If it was 4:30 in the afternoon and you went to a club, this is when your grown-ups would be picking you up. This is at the end of clubs. Okay, so hopefully those two videos have helped you. So this is to show 1/2 past. So I'll just do once more. Let's do, or what time shall we do? What time is that? So I've got my hour hand between 10 and 11. We know what way it's coming around, so we know what number it's past. My minute hand is on the 6, so I know it's going to be 1/2 past, not o'clock. It's going to be 1/2 past. We would say that's 10:30. 10:30 in the morning, we'll be sitting in the hall for assembly. 10:30 in the evening, we'll all be tucked up in bed fast asleep. Okay, so now you've watched this video. Again, with your grown-ups, you could get them to put some different times and you say what it is. So I know that's 2:30, it's between the 2 and the 3. Or your grown-up could tell you a time, so they could say 1:30. Now you know if it's 1:30, my minute hand's always going to be on 6. And if you're worried you're going to forget that, you could actually write 1:30 where the 6 is. Couldn't you? Okay. I can't remember what time I gave myself there. Was it 2:30? Let's say 2:30. So I know my hour hand is going to be between the 2 and the 3. So you could get your grown-up to give you a time that you've got to then show on the clock face, or they could make a time and you've got to say what it is. So here, my hour hand is between 8 and 9, so I can say it's 8:30, okay, because it travels in this clockwise direction. Okay, so when you feel confident with that, have a go at the 1/2 activity on today's home learning as well.